Imam, if I may just take the new video that you'll be producing, the African Answer, and in fact, coincidentally, as One People were organizing today's talk, about 2 weeks ago, I was driving into work and I was on BBC News, and I was delighted that BBC was actually covering Imam and the pastor, and they were talking about the African Answer. And I was just thinking, and perhaps if the Imam and the pastor can just shed light on this, is the African answer, is it universal? We are Asian, we are in Singapore. How relevant is the African answer to this little red dot called Singapore?
Thank you again. An African answer that Imam is holding in his hand came out of the oven not too long. And while we were in the UK, they now premiered it at the Royal Society for Arts in London, and at the Friends House also in Houston. That was a public screening. An African answer is saying we have an African solution to African problems. That is to say, Africans are very religious, and using the emotions of our humanity and our religion, we approach things in diverse ways. The documentary captured our intervention in Kenya. We went there without knowing whether we will succeed or fail. But the Canberra people from FLT for the Love of Tomorrow, which is an initiative of change outlet, just followed us with camera. They didn't want to miss it this time. And from the African approach, using rituals, African accepted rituals, which is a hybrid of African accepted ritual and Christian and Islamic ritual, were able to intervene and have brought the people who had fought over elections, where over 1,000 people died in Eldoret, in Bond Forests, together to form a common market. So it is saying that an African answer can be customized, cloned, superimposed in this red dot called Singapore. That the message we have there is not only for African, it's a universal message. But identifying with the people is a strategy to resolving a problem. One thing I will say as I stop in this step, in this moment, is to say, we went to the country and role-played. Imam took one of the ethnic nationality as his own ethnic nationality, which is the Kalenji, and the name they gave him was Kipto. And I took the role of one of the fighting groups called Kikuyu, and my name was Kamau. Now, we went together with the people. I went with the Kikuyu people as their newfound son, and African son. Imam went with his own Kalenji people as their newfound son, coming from Nigeria. And we worked with them for 3 days together, and they were opening up to share with us deep things that they will not share across. And with those things, we compared notes in the evening, and then found a way out, which we did work with them, and they provide the solution. And any solution coming from the people is lasting than when you prepare something, from the university, and take it to the people and say, this is the magic, use it. They may not work. But if it comes from the people, it works and it's lasting. And when you end it up with a kind of ritual, the vertical to help, the horizontal is working, sir. Because the vertical can really intervene in the issues of the horizontal when the vertical is asked to do that. And when the people see you communicating with the vertical, the horizontal heal themselves. It's a strategy that works in the African answer. Thank you.
And I think in addition to that, here you have a model already. It's just to nurture it. What is happening look at the house here, look at the faces. I can see different races together forming a salad pot. Today, France is finding it difficult to manage its own homes. Today, within the youth groups in United Kingdoms, across Europe, there's challenge between the early settlers' children and the later settlers' children. With guns, shooting and killing is going on. You already have a model all you need to do is, how do you develop this model to go deeper from head into heart to heart, so that even your children, right from their mother's womb, they know they are coming to a world that is as diversified as the whole world in one place. And to know that they are coming to meet with different people with different races of different culture. And to live within those cultural ethics that will say the next generations will be able to sustain this beautiful model you are working in. If you can put a mechanism along the line and grassroots initiatives, don't wait for the government. The government have put institution in place. If you mess it up, they're going to mess you up. You know that better. Like chewing the chewing-gum. Then if you chew the chewing-gum there and they cut you, you're going to pay a price for that. So therefore, why not build the heart to heart? And you have a mechanism in place from our model and other models to evolve what can be called a Singaporean model. So that Europe today, reckon within itself, between the Eastern Europe and Western Europe, you will help her out. You see, even though you are from the same block, come and learn from us a model. Thank you.
Imam, if I may move on a question that I have. Pastor and you came together more than 20 years ago. You've worked together now for the last 15 years. And all this precedes September 11. The message that brought you all together 15 years ago, do you feel is that much more important post-September 11? Do you feel the world, the clash of civilizations, is the world becoming, is the religiosity of the world more likely to create conflict? And particularly, Imam, if I may ask, is there a greater Islamization of the world since September 11?
That's a good one. But let me start with the last word. Is there a greater Islamization post-September 11 or pre-September 11? I think September 11 has brought the good, the bad, and the ugly face of history. The bad side of September 11 is this blood stain on all Muslims around the world. When criminal act and we try to glorify criminality in the name of religion. How about the good side of it? For me, is that after September, with the high level of demonizations, people start asking questions. What is this about this Islam? We want to know more about this Islam. Because when you say people don't touch, then everybody want to see, why do you say don't touch? If you keep quiet, people will not worry. But say, hey, I put something here, don't touch it. Now you are drawing their attentions. They want to know, why did he say we shouldn't touch this? And that is the question with Islam. Today, more people want to know what is Islam. What is this demonic spirit, unquote? This demonic spirit that has possessed somebody to just blow off himself, to feel happy in taking blood. What is it in it? Because it has been demonized to say that Islam is bloodshed, bloodshed is Islam. This is the negative stereotypes we have around the world after post-September 11. And when people start rushing to know it, and just in United States of America alone, up post-September 11, 7 years after, people has come more to Islam, embracing Islam, than pre-September 11. That will tell you, wow, what is happening? Because when they come deeper, they'll be able to separate the wheat from the chaff. They say, no, this is not true. This is not true. This is political wagon. This is something else. Then it means that Islam is this. If it is that, then we want to be Muslims. People coming more to Islam. Then number two, it makes Muslims to sit up. Because you are either a Muslim and true to your faith, or you leave Islam. Every Muslim, especially in Europe, become sit tight to say, hey, are you a Muslim or not? Then the faith is put to test. So if she don't use hijab, even covering her head before, she now become conscious, I need to cover my head. If she don't eat halal food, which she can eat anywhere, you say, hey man, is it halal or haram? Because every step she take, or he take, they are watching him, asking him, why? Why do you do this? Why do you? So he become professor. by virtue of question every day, he set up to live by the virtue of that tradition, ending up every day defending that faith or living it totally. So Muslims have just two choices, to be or not to be. Of course, some have retracted from Islam, they keep silent, they now have what you call faith, believing without belonging. They believe, but they don't belong to any faith community. They don't even go to the mosque. So they keep the faith within their own heart. It's when they come back in their house, they pray 5 times, all the prayer, they knock it together. But outside, because they don't want to be seen. Then the second level becomes, they believe and then they belong. Because they cannot hide that identity. So they have to move into the mosque, they see them more. So you now see more of Muslims fighting to maintain their identity in Europe. And that is the good side of September 11. And I feel there's more rise. And of course, the ugly side, it creates more extremism in the global south. Across Muslim country, you don't hear that in Indonesia before, but today you have this extremism in Indonesia, in Nigeria, across the Muslim world. With what is happening in Afghanistan, you can know that many Muslims are more friendly to American pre-September 11. They are more American. Muslims are much more American friend than Soviet. But after the Afghanistan war, the Soviet left. After September 11, the Muslims become much more anti-American than post-September 11, than pre-September 11. So in the light of this, because of the level of demonization, it's becoming so difficult to draw a line between what is Islamist and what is not Islamic. And you can see I always mention this word, and I want to mention it, but not to justify. In the 70s, Muslims are called fundamentalists. Every other Muslim is a fundamentalist. With the rising tide of Iranian revolution, Muslims say fundamentalist. But people forget fundamentalism is a positive term, not negative. Because you must follow a fundamental principle for you to qualify into that whatever framework you work with. Then in the 80s, Muslims become fanatists. Anywhere else, Muslims are fanatists. In the 90s, it changed. Muslims become extremists. And by the 2000, Muslims become terrorists. And now 2000 is going away, Muslims are called Islamists. And I says here, let's stop. In this decade, don't go. In some decade ago, you call us positive. Islamist is a positive term. You cannot, if you know about pharmacy, you can only be called a pharmacist. So if you know about Islam, you are Islamist. So what is negative about being Islamist? Is that calling a pharmacist negative term? So therefore, there's a lot of blessing in this. And we can see the stereotypes and prejudices. But in Islam, fanaticism has no basis in Islam because it's irrational thinking. Extremism have no basis in Islam because it comes out of ignorance, overzealousness. No dogmatism in Islam, it's overzealousness. And terrorism have no basis at all in Islam because terrorism, Islam is a thing that says you must protect the animal, the environment. For you to enter the kingdom of heaven, the symbolic image is a woman who protected a tasty dog. The symbol of going to hell is a woman who locked her pet, her small cat in the house, and denied that cat until he died. She traveled and locked the cat up. No food, no anything. And the Prophet said that woman won't go to hell. So if a religion promotes the virtues and values of animal and plant, and some religion will not justify go and maim and kill innocent person, not in the name of Islam. Islam have no basis for that. And I believe all global religion that call or core virtue of divinity will not promote that accessibility. So it has no basis in this religion, and I feel it's two-edged sword. It has the good side, it has the bad side, and it has the ugly side. Thank you very much.
Thank you.